Everybody just seems so certain about this war. It's a great triumph for democracy and American arms, which will bring us a much more peaceful world. It's a looming disaster which will send the whole region into chaos and spread recession towards the rest of us. Well, tonight, I just want to speak out against self-righteousness by bringing you a confession. It's about me and the Iraq War. From the beginning, I was against the Iraq War, but for the wrong reasons. I thought that Saddam's military would be mighty and would kill too many of our own people. I argued with ministers and Labour MPs before the war, and I lost friendships. Then, the war, in a military sense, like this one so far, was a triumphant success. I overcorrected, and when anti-Saddam crowds were cheering in Baghdad and pulling down his statue, I lauded Tony Blair as the leader who had proved his critics wrong. Too early, too damn early, because then came the civil war, the terrible loss of civilian life and the hideous growth of ISIS, put together one of the great disasters during my lifetime. Right from the start, the danger signals had been there, the wiser heads in the Foreign Office and the US State Department warning that you couldn't simply go into a country as big and divided as Iraq and turn it by arms into a peaceful, thriving democracy, Minnesota, with palm trees. I heard those messages. I even reported them. But somehow I didn't really take them in. And I'm telling this story tonight about how wrongly I called the Iraq War, because it reminds me that ahead of us again today, there's a long line of great unknowns. We are at the beginning of something in Iran, many miles from the end game, and it is far too early to form the kind of swaggering, fist-pumping victory dance that Pete Hegseth, the US Defense Secretary, is currently enjoying. And it's also far too early to insist that this must all end in another Middle East disaster. Keir Starmer has to take decisions. Again today, he's being savagely attacked for them. The rest of us, you, me, him down the pub, have the luxury of being able to exercise caution and self-doubt. Let us not pretend a certainty that is fundamentally dishonest. My next guest, the then International Development Secretary Clare, resigned from Tony Blair's cabinet over that, and she joins me now. Clare, very good to have you on the show. You'll have heard Hamish Faulkner there. Do you see signs of mission creep here already?
I see fudge. I mean, there's absolutely no question in international law that the attack on Iran by Israel and the US was completely illegal, and there's no way around that, and every serious authority agrees. And Starmer, for the first time, and all credit to him, said, no, we're not joining in. We believe in international law. And I thought, at last, Starmer's standing up to America. It's not just, kowtowing again and again. But then we get all this muddle and fudge we've got now because Britain's so entangled with the US and so entangled with the idea that it makes us important to have what we call a special relationship, but not very many people in the US do. They call Israel their special relationship. And you're getting all this fudging now. I mean, if it was wrong to attack, then it's wrong to give America the authority to use our bases to continue to attack. And I understand that the president of Cyprus said, yes, we want you to protect us, but we don't want you authorizing America to attack from Cyprus. So we're now in a muddle again. And it's, I mean, to be fair to Starmer and co., Britain is up to its neck. It's military coordination, it's intelligence coordination with the American alliance, and we need to start disentangling, and it can't be done overnight, and that would be a difficult process. But rather than fight, given the situation in Europe as well, and this is an issue for all European powers too, we should be more clear about where we're going. That's where we go, and our job is to have a defensive arrangement in Europe. And then I think we have to say, what is the base in Cyprus really for? For America to, attack Gaza? What is the Diego Garcia for? It's so that America gets access to the Middle East. I mean, we could save some money, focus, have a clearer strategy. So Starmer was brave for a bit, and now we're back into fudge because we don't dare to disagree with the US.
Clare, I started the show by mentioning the Iraq War and how I had got things wrong in analysing that. And I remember very well your resignation from the cabinet. Now, this war is in many ways very, very different. No boots on the ground, no overt discussion of regime change. But nonetheless, the leader has been...
There has been discussion of regime change by Bush. I mean, come on. But there has been discussion of regime change by Bush, but not boots on the ground.
Yeah. OK, but this time round, Trump seems, put it politely, confused as to what the ultimate end game is. And I'm just interested in your view of what's the likely outcome of what's going on in Iran. Are we going to end up with a more Pacific, pro-Western country, or are we going to end up with something that's actually worse than we've seen before?
Nobody knows the clear answer to that. I think we're going to end up with lots of dead Iranians. We say we're doing this to help Iranians, but they're suffering and scared and seeing their buildings being destroyed, 1,000 dead so far, and it isn't over. So lots of chaos. And then there's all talk of the Americans arming the Kurds, so that's encouraging civil war. So I think the danger is very chaotic, lots and lots of suffering for the Iranian people, more and more destabilization of the Middle East, more and more encouragement to extreme fanatical groups who are hostile to the West. Not good for anyone. Not good for anyone.
And very quickly, the Iraq war scarred British politics, scarred the Labour Party for a generation. Is there a danger the Iran war could do the same?
Well, I hope it won't be just scars. I hope it will be clarifying. Come on, let's disentangle from just being the American poodle and always going wherever they want. And let's have an independent foreign policy and then independent use of our intelligence agencies, military and so on, to be more defensive, more respectful of international law. It's not just Trump, he's particularly extreme, but it's going in a different direction to Europe, and we need to be clear about where we're going.
Fascinating analysis. Clare Short, thank you very much indeed for talking to LBC tonight.